Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Spirited Family, for joining me here on another episode of Spirited Discussions. Excited to have everyone here, and including my guests tonight. Want to take a minute just to give a little bit of a shout out to Larry King, who passed away today. Definitely one of my inspirations. A great interviewer, somebody that I look to. So the world is a little bit sadder for having lost him today. But without further ado, I want to bring on my guest tonight. She is definitely one of my top Australian crushes, if you will, replacing Crocodile Dundee and Yahoo Serious. Tonight, I introduce you to Peta from the Ethereal Sisters Paranormal. Welcome, Peta.
Hi, how you going? So I've topped Crocodile Dundee, have I?
Oh yeah. It is a big gap. There's a big gap there. One of the top. There. So,
all I need is just a big knife.
That's not an EVP meter.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You are part of the dynamic duo with your partner Sean. But you guys, how long have you guys had your channel up and going?
I think we got it up. We created it maybe June, and then we posted our first video, I think halfway through July.
Nice. Yeah. So less than a year, and you guys are already knocking on the door of like almost 450 subscribers right now. Pretty close, a little over 400.
Yeah. Getting there slowly, but
yeah.
I've got the channel kind of building some momentum now. So making sure that our uploads are, up every week and stuff. So we did have, quite a period of time where like I was not well. So like our first, up until like August, I had a really bad infection. And then I had like major dental surgery done and then got an infection from that. So it's, like we just have big gaps and everything. But now things are starting to moving along, which is good.
Very cool.
I'm trying to get Jane over here. We're trying to get Jane over here because she's just run out like in there. So
yeah, your dynamic duo might become a dynamic trio.
Yeah.
It could be a trio,
yes.
But dynamic doesn't sound like the right word to say for that. There, terrific trio. There we go. Terrific trio.
I'm very interested to see what happens when the three of us are together at a location. That will be interesting.
Definitely with that much dynamic female energy in a space. Like you might bring some more fantastic stuff out there. And having another set of eyes to be able to go over any content and do editing, get all that kind of stuff dialed in.
Yeah. And it's also going to, be cheaper because we're going to be able to split it 3 ways, if we are going to locations and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'd be fun.
Definitely. How has your YouTube journey been so far?
I'm like pretty positive. To be honest, we've got, a really loyal, sub base, which is good. And, it's been going well. Like, we've obviously, had those moments where it's definitely a little bit of trial and error. We've both had so much to learn. But I think like looking back on our older videos, which are just, oh my gosh, it's so cringe. So cringe. We're improving more as we go along. So not just with regards to the paranormal, but with filming, different angles, B-roll, lighting. So, yeah.
Is there
Been a bit
any?
stressed.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish you would have known then that you know now that you wish you would have implemented in creating your channel and kind of starting off your paranormal investigations?
Well, with YouTube, trying to figure out the bloody algorithm is just, it's hard. Some videos do really well, and then the next one, you don't change anything, you keep your same tags, your SEO, all of that kind of stuff, and it just, comes up and down. So it's a bit frustrating. So we're still trying to figure out the algorithm. But yeah, with the paranormal, yeah, we've just been learning a lot. So, and I'm, just getting better and better at my medium ship skills. So, yeah.
What are you doing to hone those specific skills?
I'm not doing anything in particular. I think I'm just tuning in a different way. Like we'll always say a prayer before and after an investigation. But the more I do it, the more I sense, the more I can hear. And even, back in our like earlier episodes, I was always hearing stuff that Sean wouldn't hear, or, if her brother Frank was with us. And it would be kind of frustrating, but at the same time, like, I'm hearing all this stuff, or I'll see something and, like I can't hear it. And I think it was when we filmed at Green Hills the first time, and I was hearing some whispering and stuff in the room where the door slammed, and Sean said to me, yeah, I didn't hear it. And then she said, I think that's maybe one of your special little skills that the spirits talk to you more. But yeah, prayer. But no, I think it's just kind of me learning to tune in more, but without opening myself, right up. So, which you'll see, and everyone will see what happens because of that at the Roundhouse tomorrow when that comes up on YouTube. So don't want that happening again.
No.
No.
Very cool. Well, you got another episode releasing tomorrow, and you guys, so you're getting close to wrapping up season 1?
Well, season 1, yes, this will be the last episode for season 1. We didn't intend for it to, get to number 14. But, as you know, like when you first kind of start out and you're only getting viewers' attention for a certain period of time, you kind of have to, change things. So we started, shortening our uploads. So, yeah, that just meant that there were more parts per location, especially if, we were getting activity and that. So season 2 will be coming out. It'll be 2 weeks, yeah. So Roundhouse tomorrow, and then, first episode of season 2.
Very cool. Yeah. And you're going back to the same place, the Greenville, is that what it was called?
Green Hills.
Green Hills, yeah.
We did all our season 2 filming, when was it? I think we kind of started in September. So I am wearing a mask for probably, half of the episodes, because I was, in recovery from surgery and that. And yeah, because of getting the freaking infection, it prolonged everything as well. So we weren't expecting to have it take that long. But I said, Sean, I need to be filming. I need to be investigating because I am like dying here because I feel like I haven't investigated in like 12 months. So, but yeah, we did go back to Green Hills to film and took our new gear. So I had the SLS and yeah, a lot happened. Yeah, it was awesome.
Excited for that there. Well, let's do this here. This is the first time I've ever tried to do this, but let me share my screen here and see if I can pull up the clip where you caught the shadow figure, and we'll watch that and then discuss that a little bit here.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that? Is that coming up? No? Can you see it? No?
I can't see it. So down the bottom
where it says share screen
so you click on that and it should come up down with me in the bottom area, and then you add it to, like you're adding a guest, you add it to the main screen. I haven't done it before yet. I've played around with doing it, but yeah. So it's kind of like, yep, that's it. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Make it big here. There. Hey, I can do it.
Yay! It's so cool. Like, I've watched this clip so many times. I just love it.
No doubt. Very cool.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, because like the IR, like on the door frame, you can like see where the IR is reflecting, and that kind of, for a brief second, like when the shadow arm comes out, that also kind of dims. And when we pause, so if you pause it just after the shadow arm, you can actually see what looks like a young girl, like standing just on the inside between the door and the door frame. Yeah. But we didn't make anything of it because we can't rule out pareidolia. So yeah, we just did the shadow arm. But I mean, that's how fast it was. Like, I had to slow it all the way down to 30%, and it's still moving relatively quick at 30%. So we're hoping, like, fingers crossed, that Nuke's spooks will feature it on their channels. I did tag both of them when I put it on my IG story. And spooks actually looked at it, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. He's never looked at my story before, so I was like, okay, hope that's a good sign.
So what's the history behind that place?
Oh, geez, it's really old. It's back in the, I think it's mid 1800s. And it was actually, to begin with, just a station house. So there's a railway line across the road. So it was a station house. And then when they stopped the trains going up to that point and they closed down that part of the track, there was, I think it was one, can't remember the lady's name, but she kind of, they turned it into, it was a house, basically. And then a couple of young men bought it, and they changed the name to something else. I can't remember because I'm just brain dead at the moment. But yeah, they actually, it was really, really run down, and they actually renovated and restored the entire building, which was awesome. So they tried to sell it, and 7 years later, that's when April and her husband bought it. So yeah, but it's such a beautiful place. Like there's nothing negative there. You know, I had a run-in with the spirit Agatha. Now Agatha is one of the well-known spirits there, and she, like, we stay in the room that she's in basically, and there's, like, you know, double doors, and she goes out onto the balcony upstairs. So she's often seen standing, you know, at the, you know, the door's window, and she's waiting for her lover to return from war, which he never did, and she died of a broken heart. Now, no problems with Agatha, and I even saw her, not full body, but I saw like a lower half of like a white kind of dress. But the very first time that we did stay there, and it was the morning of us leaving, and Sean and I were just having some brekkie, and the owner wanted to take a pic of us to put like on her Facebook page. And we're like, yeah, we'll do that. And she told us about this picture that a couple had taken when they'd stopped by one day. And, you know, it's from the outside, and, you know, you can see those double doors up there. And you see like this contorted type ghostly face. So like, you know, kind of very like big kind of black, you know, area where the eye should be. But it's quite distorted, like the Scream mask. You know, that's probably the best comparison I can make for it. And, you know, I said to April, oh, you haven't shown us the photo yet. She's like, oh, I'll go grab it. So she comes back, and, you know, Sean and I are looking at the photo, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's insane. Like, that's really cool. And I asked April, I said, can I take a picture of it? And she's like, yeah, go for it. And so I took, you know, 3 or 4 pictures. And then I said to her, you know, I'm looking at it more closely. And I said, kind of looks like the Scream mask, doesn't it? And it was either me taking the picture without asking her permission, like Agatha's permission, or saying she looks like the Scream mask. But something I did or said did not make her happy at all. And, you know, I turn around to grab my coffee, turn back, and I'm just like full, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to throw up. Like, it came and hit me so hard. And April said, oh, do you want to step out? And I'm like, no, let's just get this bloody photo done. You know, let's just get it done. And so, you know, she puts us where we want to go. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I'm feeling really, really sick. And April said, are you sure you're all right? And I'm like, yep, just take the photo. And before she even had a chance, I'm like, no, where do I go? Where do I go? And we were the only ones there. So she hadn't actually unlocked the door yet. So I just bolt for the door, and there's all these locks, and I'm just scrambling to try and unlock everything. And Sean's trying to help me, and I just like bolt out onto like the lawn area. And, you know, like, it was the most intense vomiting I've ever experienced in my entire life. And the weird part is that I just had brekkie, but I didn't bring anything up, like, other than just liquid. It was weird, but it was so forceful. My face hurt, my throat was hurting. And when we got home later that day, and, you know, I'm in my bathroom, and I'm just like, what the hell's that on my face? And I take a closer look, and I've got like all this hemorrhaging from like burst blood vessels. Yeah, so all this hemorrhaging all around my eyes. I even had a couple of like spots on my eyeballs, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, wow. And my throat was sore for, you know, a good 2 or 3 days. It was really, really full on. But I had a chat with her before I left, and I apologized for whatever it was. And yeah, we didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with the second time we filmed there. But yeah,
that's pretty intense. Is that the most intense interaction you've ever had on an investigation?
Mm,
To date that we've seen, maybe?
yeah, that you've seen. Yeah. The other one will be in the episode tomorrow. Yeah.
Teaser.
But you know, when I kind of like think about it, I can't really put one ahead of the other because they're very different. So I'd say they're kind of pretty level with, you know, experience wise. But yeah, we learned a lot from that investigation. A lot.
Very interesting.
So,
for you as a paranormal investigator, what would you think would be like the ultimate evidence that you could capture on film?
Sorry, I'm trying not to choke on my coffee. Full body apparition, for sure. Or a shadow figure. Like I've seen them, but I haven't caught one on camera yet. Other than, you know, part of a shadow figure, you know, an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, an arm.
Why do you
yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think that, I mean, it's capturing any kind of evidence on video is pretty ultimate anyways, but why do you think it's so much harder? You can see them with your eyes and things, you just don't have the camera pointed at the right thing. Do you think the spirits are avoiding the cameras maybe, or
you know, I get that sense at certain locations, for sure. You know, and that's another reason why it's so important to have static cams, because, you know, if those spirits aren't willing to interact with you on any form, you know, any level, or with any piece of equipment, you know, you kind of hope that you'll capture them when you're not around. But yeah,
definitely.
It's like, I just love it. I really do. But yeah, sorry, I'm a bit like today.
That's okay. Why do you what makes you love it so much? What's the drive, and what's the joy that you get from the investigating there?
Oh, I think for me, a lot of it has to do with what happened with me at 15. And I've always had, you know, these gifts, but I never really knew what they were or why I had them. And, you know, I guess, you know, as a younger child, I didn't even know about, you know, the paranormal and stuff. But yeah, it's, I think for me, trying to prove their existence, that it's not just something in a movie. And, you know, also trying to help, you know, any spirits that are stuck, you know, yeah.
Are you a big purveyor of paranormal other channels and things, or
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think until I started watching The Haunted Side, I myself was sucked into the fakers. And, because I didn't even think of CGI or that they were like staging it and all of that. So even myself was sucked into it type thing. And then, I started watching more of the haunted side, and it got me thinking, like, hang on a sec. So, and Sean was watching the Foreman brothers back, when they had that particular channel. And so when, I started watching more of these, real paranormal channels, yeah, I just ditched all the fakers. Yeah, but I watch everyone in our community.
Yeah.
The Foreman brothers, I love watching their episodes. And that's something that Sean and I kind of want to get to where we can actually help families who, might be under spiritual attack or, dealing with a haunting and things like that. So, yeah.
Are paranormal shows on regular network TV over in Australia? Like, do you guys like Ghost Adventures and things like that? Or are those shows on over there?
Well, Sean, who's in the chat, she is, has had a big crush on Zach for years and years. She loves her Ghost Adventures. I used to watch them all the time. But yeah, because we don't have it on our Netflix or on our Stan, and I don't watch normal TV. So yeah, like unless Sean has it on a hard drive, I'll watch it. But we have what's it called? It's a TV show on Netflix, and each episode is about a family that has dealt with a haunting, whether it's just, a singular person in that family or the family as a whole, and they go through and they, talk about their experience and what happened and stuff. So I'll watch that. And yeah, I love my thrillers and horror. And yeah, I mean, I started watching horror as soon as we got like a, bloody hell, what do you call them, VCR? When I was 13. So yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Jeez, there's so many. I love The Conjuring. But there's one in particular that I just can't even. I hate the name. So Child's Play. So that was like I had watched all of those. And then the whole thing with my experience at 15 was happening. And I don't know, like it just scarred me for some reason. Like that particular movie stuck with me. So I hated anyone saying his name. I hated, seeing pictures or, DVDs and no.
Didn't do it for you.
I still couldn't watch it today. No. I still could not. Yeah.
Did you?
I mean, I don't get scared like easy, but that one, I don't know what it is. Oh, the other one I really loved when I was younger was Poltergeist. Yeah.
Definitely a good one there. Did you watch the new one with Mark Hamill as the voice of the doll? I won't say his name because you don't like it, but
No. I can't. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I just can't bring myself to do it because it's tied to that experience at 15. And yeah, I guess a bit of like PTSD. I don't know. Shut up, Sean. Seriously.
Throwing it out there. What do you, as far as the paranormal channels that you do watch, or any of the ones that you look at there, are there anything that kind of stands out as something that you kind of wish would maybe go away from the genre?
Are you talking real paranormal channels?
Real paranormal channels. Anything on the YouTube, anything in our community that we watch. That is there anything that kind of stands out as something that like, I don't really like that very much. Sure.
Well, like I've spoken to you about dowsing rods.
Mm-hmm.
I think even though, I experienced it myself and felt it myself, I still think they're too subjective. They're not, I wouldn't categorize them as, real evidence.
The scientific type method.
Yeah, because you can't, 100%, say that a spirit did it, because it could be the person, shaking or whatever. Because we, like, even if we're as still as possible, just like I was, and yesterday when I did, was it yesterday? No, Friday when I did the live with Jane, like I was holding myself really still, but I could feel my hands were shaking a little. And the other one, I'd say maybe orbs. A lot of we will only count an orb if it coincides with something else. So like with a shadow arm, an orb comes directly from that direction towards the camera. Or if it's like, a specific, like it's moving in a certain way, like it's not, it's not a normal way for dust to move, for instance.
Or a bug,
Yeah, but there are a lot of paranormal investigators that, use orbs as, capturing paranormal and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against channels that, use dowsing rods or orbs and things like that. But yeah.
Definitely. I think
it can be explained away.
Yeah. I think if an orb moves, like you said, in an unusual pattern or manner other than dust, like then you can kind of take that as more evidence of something that's happening there. But a lot of places that we see people go into, like the old mills and things like that, there's tons of dust and tons of bugs and things like that around there. So you can't use that as specific as evidence unless, like you said, it coincides with some other thing happening and something that But I think that kind of can be said for almost any of our equipment there too. Like even if I'm just getting K2 hits, if I don't have something else to kind of back that up or kind of go along with that too, it's just it could be anything there necessarily. But the more evidence, the better. So
I mean, we captured some really awesome orbs on one of our static cams at Clive Cottage, which is the first episode of season 2. And like you can just tell the difference between dust and like if it's a spirit trying to manifest. There was one part of the static cam and we had it kind of pointing towards the stairs, but you could see the room below as well, and there's nothing. So there's no, and I don't think we were even in the cottage at that time, so there wasn't even any movement. But it goes from like maybe a bit of dust or an orb here, there, very sporadically, and then all of a sudden, like there's freaking shit tons of them, and they're all kind of moving weird, and then it stops again. So yeah, it is. I don't know. It is a bit weird. But no, if you can back up like your evidence with a second piece of equipment, then, that's obviously a lot better.
Definitely.
Like you said.
What do you think is your favorite piece of equipment that you have right now?
My SLS. Yeah, I love it. I really do. I love it. Yeah, that would definitely be my favorite.
Have you had spirits interact with you via the SLS, like raise your arm, things like that?
Yeah. We captured so much on the SLS at Green Hills when we went back. It was ridiculous. And, like, I think the first time we went, we had more activity upstairs, but this time, majority of the investigation is downstairs because it didn't matter where I pointed my SLS, I was picking up figures, like everywhere. So, yeah, it was like they were having a bit of a shindig, bit of a party.
They all came out because of your abilities. They wanted to communicate with you there.
Yeah, we did an experiment there actually, because I don't know if you've seen it. Have you ever watched Exploring with Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So his paranormal. Have you watched any of his paranormal ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a few of them.
Okay. So during one of those episodes, there's a male and a female, and when they are together and they hold hands, they get the spirits interacting with them via knocks. So to spell out words, they'll start going through the alphabet. Can you remember that on one of his episodes?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one happen.
But yeah, like he's showing everyone who's in the room and that they're not moving. So they'll go like A, B, C, D. And when they get a knock, they'll use that letter and then they start A, B, C, D again. But it's only if they start holding hands. It's something about the two of them that when they are connected, something weird happens. So I really wanted to try that theory out because, my medium abilities, Sean's empathic and quite sensitive as well. Didn't work for us though. I'm like, but we're connected. But yeah, it didn't work.
That's funny. I think that like even with something like the Ovulus or something like that, I think that there's more responses that investigators get when they actually have those tools in their hands. Like maybe it's they're being a conduit for whatever's coming through to be able to speak through the Ovulus or to kind of get some hits and things like that. That's really really interesting.
I mean, that would probably be my second favorite, piece of equipment that I use. And like I've ordered one from Paranormal Electronics. I haven't got it yet though. But yeah, we have used both the iPhone Ovilus app and the Android, the Paralysis app. And the Paralysis app, like by far, is the most like responsive, but also relevant. You get a lot more relevant words coming through there, whether it's something that we're asking or it's something to do with the history of the location. Whereas with the iPhone one, oh my gosh, it spits out just the most random words. Like the amount of times we've had the word bloody bacon come through is unbelievable. So yeah, we kind of, if we do have to use that one, and it's the same with the necrophonic, we take no notice if a random word comes through that we get all the time. Yeah, we don't even use it as evidence.
Yeah.
So, and the same with the necrophonic, because that, obviously has some type of loop, but you don't need internet to use it. So it's not connected to, any form of Wi-Fi. And we always have our phones on airplane mode anyway during investigation. But we kind of know, just from the experiences we've had using it, the certain sounds that come through on a regular. But I was telling Jane yesterday, and I'm not going to say what happens, but in the episode tomorrow, we had the weirdest thing happen. And we put the Necrophonic app on, and some of the responses we got in regards to this situation was amazing. It was just like, I'm listening back to it over and over because I'm editing it. And it's even saying those, I think it's like 7 words, same voice, and it's got an Aussie accent. I was blown away.
That is pretty incredible.
Blown away.
That's pretty incredible. What time is your premiere happening tomorrow for the next episode?
I think it's at 9. I think it's at 9. I don't know. What time is it, Sean? I took off, what was it, Friday afternoon, and yesterday, other than, a little bit on socials, because I've just been like going non-stop and just getting quite stressed and overwhelmed. So I'm like, no, okay, I'm taking a step back. And I said to Jane, I'm already getting the itch to go back to editing. So now I know if I'm getting like fed up, I just need a day and a half off.
I don't ever get the itch to edit. That's the one thing I don't ever
get. Really?
I get the itch to go out and investigate and film and things like that. And then it takes me a long time to review the footage because, I just learning as I kind of go and setting up my cameras and weird spots for long periods of time and then having to like kind of go through it there. But then when it comes down to the editing, that's the one thing I keep putting. I've got so much good evidence that I've captured. I just don't have the skills to edit it down. So I keep pushing it off on the side and be like, I'll throw this up there. So
what program are you using?
I have, let's see here. I have DaVinci, but DaVinci Resolve, but then I also have...
That's what I use. Thanks, sis. 9 a.m. It's at 9 o'clock there.
I have VideoPad Editor as well. Both of them they're both fairly easy to use. And I think Cody mentioned one that he uses, that Felicity or something like that I might check out.
Filmora. I think he uses Filmora.
Filmora, that's what it was. Yep, I knew it was there, but I couldn't remember it there. But anyways, so I have to play around with that one there too. But and I have a good friend of mine who used to do the sound and production design for a network TV show, who's great at video editing. He's a Foley artist, so he would make the sounds of like feet walking and things like that. So he has all the skills, but because of COVID, he's like, can't come over and use my studio. So I'm like, God damn it. He would help me.
Can you email them to him or put them on like Google Drive?
Oh, that's a good idea. I might have to try that.
That's what we were doing because we were using, an editor to begin with, and during my recovery last year. But yeah, I'm glad that we're editing now because I know then that I haven't missed anything, and I can listen properly and take the time to replay. I don't know, I don't mind it, but I'm quite a creative person anyway, so it's I think it's a creative outlet, I guess, for me. It's the same with doing thumbnails and stuff like that. I really enjoy doing it, but everything has to like line up.
I'm sure the more that I do it, the better it will get, and the easier it'll get, and things like that. But
yeah, like I just taught myself how to use it, and I think even Sean was surprised at how quick I picked it up. But yeah, usually with computer stuff, I pick up pretty quick. But yeah, she's like editing. Ugh, try not to think of it as work.
Let me see that. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Peter. It's been a lovely chat. Thank you for coming on, and
You're
I
welcome.
wish you the best in season 2 here. Let's say goodbye to everybody here. Well, that wraps up episode number 4. Thank you so much, Peta, for coming on for tonight's episode. And stay spooky, friends, and look forward to next week. I've got hopefully a special guest coming on. Not that they all haven't been special. I've enjoyed each and every single one of them there, but somebody who I refer to as the Ghost Father. So we'll see if he can make it. But thanks so much, and have a lovely evening.